Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a message that I posted. Then we had to have a translation so that we can all understand. This is the translation of that message. The message reads like this: Hello my brother, how are you? We are currently staying here overseas with my siblings, but I can say us getting this opportunity of us being here overseas, it is only by the grace of God. If it was not by the grace of God, I should be back home suffering with the rest of the family. In our family, it's like there is a demon of poverty that is assigned to our family, specifically our family only. And this demon of poverty saw it fit to make our bloodline its resting place. They say that poverty stinks, and indeed it is true. In our family, there is poverty that stinks. Sometimes I feel my heart breaking up into several pieces whenever I sit down just thinking about the poverty that is there in our family. Because as for me, I can see that there is no end to all of this poverty. But what do you do when the man who brought you into this world is the author of the poverty that is now affecting the family? Yes, my father is the one who cursed his own bloodline in the quest of becoming rich. It is said that when our father sought help from this other traditional healer, who was more like his personal doctor, they then summoned the spirit of the dead. After they had successfully summoned the spirit of that dead person, then they gave this creature that they had raised from the dead a body so that it can work for my father. And whilst it will be working for my father, it can make my father to become a filthy rich man. My father was a mechanic. My father had a tokoloshi / a goblin, which he used in his business. When he was still alive, this gave my father a lot of money. Indeed, my father seemed to have a cow at his garage that used to give him money instead of milk. But unfortunately, my father was not a man who was financially disciplined or financially wise. For all the money that he made from his mechanic business, he used to squander all of that money with a lot of women that he was dating. My father was that kind of a man who was a polygamous man. He was involved into a lot of polygamous relationships. He didn't care if he was dating another man's wife or if he was dating a young girl. My father had 3 wives, including our mother. These were the only women that were known by all of his relatives and the extended family. As for his other countless girlfriends, they would just come here and there. Some of them, they will come and they will say that the pregnancy that they will be carrying, it belonged to their father. Some of the women, they will come. Then my mom and some of my dad's wife, they will chase away the girlfriend that would have come so as to stay with our father. Growing up at our family house, different kind of kids of all ages would come so often at our house saying that they were looking for our father, for he is the man whom they were told to be their father. And whenever our father will be told that such a kid is here to see you, and this kid is saying that you are his or her father, our father will never deny or agree. All his life, he was that kind of a man who never said no or yes in the open. He would run around without answering a very simple question. When a child will be brought to our family either by a woman or by the relatives of the woman who will be claiming that our father was the biological father of the child, my father will say it is well. Then the following morning, he will collect the child and he will take the child and drive to his garage, and we don't know what he will do with all of these children. But what we know is that when he will come back home, is either he will say to our mother that this one is not my child, I am not related to him in any way, or he will say to my mom, this one is my child, for the blood that flows in his veins is the same blood that flows in my own veins, but it is up to you to allow the child to stay here or to be chased away. So we grew up in an environment where we had a lot of kids that were saying that our father was their father. It was like at his garage, our father had a secret DNA that told him about the paternity in question, or maybe his tokology was the one which told him about the DNA result of the child in question. Another thing that happened was that my father, whenever he was broke, he would drive back to the village and collect his relatives so that they can stay with us. Then his business will start to have a lot of profit whenever a lot of my father's relatives will be staying with us at our family house. Like our auntie, there was this other auntie of ours. This auntie in particular, she was a crippled woman. She had a stroke and she could no longer use her arm. But there was something about this auntie. We didn't even know why our father favored our auntie so much. My father loved this auntie of ours so much. What he used to do is that without telling anyone, he would just get from the garage, then get into his car, and he would drive back to the village and fetch our auntie, and he would take her to the garage at night. And we don't know what he will do with our auntie back at his garage late at night. But when our father will take our crippled auntie back to the village, the very next morning, people would flock to his garage with their cars, waiting for their cars to be fixed. Sometimes there will be no parking space at his garage because his customers will be flowing like a river to him, so much that he would bring those cars that need to be fixed back at our family house because of lack of parking space. Our relatives said our father was a ritualist, and after he passed away, his businesses went up in flames. My brother, my father's business just went up in flames. The garage was burnt to the ground by a mysterious fire. Lucky for me and my siblings, as for our mother came from a family that was well up in life. So after the passing away of our father, our mom was then brought here overseas by her family members. That is how we escaped the jaws of poverty back in Zim. But poverty, it seems as if it just follows our bloodline. As for me, I am too dependent on bank loans. The house that I live in is a credit. All the things that I have in my life, it is all credit. I can't even buy anything for cash because I am so much in debt. The car that I drive, it is a credit that I got from the bank. The house that I am living in, it is a credit that I got from the bank. When I get paid, the bank takes all of its money, the loan for the car and the credit cards. A day after my payday, I'll be so broke and I will start using my credit cards to buy food for the house. I am so much into debt. This spirit of poverty, it is just following us everywhere we go. Brother Nashi, if it is said that I have fallen sick and I can no longer go to work, with the money that I am owing the bank, I will find myself on the streets homeless, because in this country in which I find myself in, if you just miss a couple of your payments, then you are done for good. I once asked my sister to speak with our relatives who are back home in Zim so that we can go and visit at least a traditional healer who can then cleanse the whole bloodline and chase away this spirit of poverty. But my sister, she refused. She said that if it is true that our father, when he died, he had a tokoloshi, then my sister said that the day that he died, that was the day that this goblin died with him. But it is just a lie. To all the people who know these things about tokoloshis, they don't just die like that. They keep on following the bloodline, and I can see that wherever we go, this thing, it is following us. I don't know what I do. I beg to differ with my sister, because if I look at myself, if you see me, you will say that here is a man who is very successful in life. But if you look at the assets that I own nothing in this life. It is all credit that is not yet paid, not yet fully paid. dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from one of our listeners. Then I had to ask our admins to give us a translation.